These are 5 reasons you might consider moving to Las Vegas in 2020 or 2021. Not sure if you're thinking of coming into town, you're on the fence, you're on the borderline, you're not sure what you're going to do. Whoa, I'm shaking my camera like an amateur. Let's talk about some reasons. My name's Steven, I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. We're going to go over some stuff because people sometimes need to do their research. And you know what? You can visit these blogs and they basically say the same things, but we give you some insights here on the channel. I do 14 videos plus per week. If you guys want to support the project, head on over to Patreon, Not Leaving Las Vegas. You guys can see stuff I do early. Don't post up on the regular interwebs. You guys can always head over to VegasFaceMask.com. If masks have become mandatory in your neck of the woods and you got to wear one, wear 2 that are made in the United States by my wife. They're the only face mask you ever need. You see the little picture beside me right there. You guys can also hit the links for Teespring merchandise. You can get a coffee mug or something. We also have Amazon.com and Vegas.com affiliate stuff there. So you can do the actions you were going to do anyways and credit back the channel. It's not that hard. Amazon billionaires can afford to pay a few pennies to me if you buy a DVD. Who buys DVDs? Do you buy DVDs? Blu-ray Ultra HD, I guess, maybe. All right, so we have 5 reasons. You know, some of these might be conventional reasons that you already thought of. Some of them might not be. I'm not going to talk about the C-19 as one of the reasons, obviously, but Vegas has actually been pretty decent so far. We'll see if there's a surge with all the stuff going on. But you know what? Let's just touch upon that, I guess. We're not going to talk about it. Now I'm talking about it. First reason, I guess we're going to have 6 reasons. You know, for what it's worth, we have been pretty lucky when it comes to the C-19. This city has not seen a whole lot of deaths compared to some other parts of the country for whatever reason. We have had a bunch of infections. I think there's well over 10,000 for the entire state. And whether or not we surge going forward, it seems like our populace is handling it, at least not on the Strip, rather well. People are wearing masks. People are socially distancing off the regular Strip. So we've all been responsible human beings and citizens out here, and our shutdown is not necessarily over. We're still in phase 2, but I don't see signs of us going back to phase 1 and regressing. So that's the thing, but the actual stuff I have listed right down here, we have number 1, we have jobs. Now, this one is so hard. I could have total egg on my face if in a few months it's really, really bad out here. But right now, the casinos are coming back. The more and more of them are opening every single day. And you might say to me, I don't care. I don't work in a casino. And I totally understand what you mean. But there's this trickle up, trickle down economic theory. And some people hate it because it was a thing that Ronald Reagan talked about. And some people didn't like that guy. But it doesn't matter. He didn't invent this theory. Not what deal whatsoever. You see, when people have jobs, they spend their money. This is why military bases and government towns always seem to do well during economic recessions, because the military is funded and the government towns are funded. So Maryland had no problems during 2008 in the economic crisis because the government was growing. The government was adding jobs, and those people had to get government payroll, and those people needed to own houses, and so they never missed a beat, they never missed a step. So when the jobs come back to Las Vegas, because the rest of the country's jobs market is improving, that means that the people here are working. So even if you don't work in a casino-related industry and you want to open up something, it's going to be supported by the largest industry in town. A lot of making up a lot of economic folks, a lot of economists are predicting, wow, it's early morning, predicting a V-shaped recovery, meaning that we were up here, it dropped down here, we're going to be up here again. Some people are saying that it will be a long battle and we can't tell, but I see from what we see in Las Vegas, tons of growth. We'll talk about that on another point on this list. Tons of new plazas opening. There's a giant, huge retail development right near where I live that's been under construction for 2 years. It hasn't stopped. Very least, they're ready to go. So we have jobs in Las Vegas that are happening. Now, you're better off, I said in a previous video, if you have a professional job. This is very true. You're going to have a better time in Las Vegas finding work, but that's the case for anywhere else. But even if you don't, and you're an entrepreneur and you're willing to come out here and you're willing to hustle and do something that you have a skill at, you'll be okay. And if you have to get a job working somewhere, I'm seeing more and more help wanted signs around town. It's not like it was before the virus outbreak, but it's still getting back there. Number 2 is location. Location, location, location. That's what dictates the prices of real estate. That's what dictates the rents on a shop you want to stay in. If you're in a store, your products are placed towards the front. If you sell products in a grocery store, for example, you're going to have a better or a more expensive price to be up at the front of the store. Well, Vegas's location is prime. We're only a few hours away from Los Angeles. We're a few hours away from the Grand Canyon. We have the ocean next to us. We're basically a West Coast town. That means that we're a major transportation hub, which lends to the first point with the jobs. And it also means that it's a major airport servicing us. You can fly to practically anywhere if you're flying nowadays. We also service overseas and have direct flights out to Europe, out to Asia, out to all sorts of parts. And if you can't get a direct flight out, you just go to Los Angeles and you take that little drive, or you take a 40-minute flight to LA and you're good to go. We fly over to the Philippines to visit the wife's family. I love that place, and we go over there, we go through LA, and it's really easy to get in and out of Las Vegas. So it's a good southwestern location, like a lot of cities such as Phoenix and LA, of course. So location is great in Las Vegas. Number 3, housing market. Yeah, I know, right? We haven't talked about the housing market. I got my friend Josh, and on the Facebook group, Not Leaving Las Vegas, he's been fielding questions that people have about moving to Las Vegas. But I talk to realtors all the time at the magazine job that I work at, and they do a lot of advertising with us. And realtors right now, they're finding that even though there's less houses and less homes being actually listed on the market, there's less inventory on the market. It's kept the housing prices pretty close to where they were before the whole crash happened. We had, what, 1-point-something% rate in drop in the prices, so it hasn't been that bad, and it looks like the housing is going to hold. New home sales are down, existing home sales are pretty much the same as they were, but there's still tons of housing developments that are actually being completed and built all over the valley in Las Vegas. So there's not like we have a lack of homes to buy. It's not like we have a glut of homes that are on the market flooding the market, and the foreclosure rate here has stayed pretty consistent. Something to do with our government saying that the FHA loans are going to be frozen. Most mortgage companies through the virus outbreak wanted to make sure that people weren't going to lose their homes. Nobody wants to do that. You might think that they would want you to foreclose on your mortgage, but they really don't. It's a much bigger process for them to actually foreclose and try to get your house all sorted out after you're not in there. It takes months and months to do that, and we're not in that kind of an economy. It's still not. People are getting by, and housing market has stayed relatively strong. The next one is going to be weather, and I know everybody talks about the weather in Las Vegas, and we hear two different things when I interview people on the Strip. We hear that either the weather is great in Las Vegas and I love it, or the weather is bad in Las Vegas and I hate it. Let's be realistic here when it comes to the weather. We have 350 or so days of beautiful sunshine every single year. It's hardly ever overcast on a regular day in Vegas. When it is, it's a beautiful day to be outside. You have beautiful photography weather. If you're a photographer, you know what I'm talking about. Overcast skies make for great photo opportunities because there's no harsh shadows on everything. But let's not talk about, it's not a photography channel. It's not a video channel. Well, it kind of is. No, in terms of weather, we only have a few months of the year where it's ridiculous and you don't want to actually be outside. That's going to be like your end of June, July, August, and the beginning of September. Other than that, you can hack it. You can get by. Yes, it sucks to be outside when it's 115. And for the information, even though some of the old timers will brag that it was so hot, it was crazy. I once saw a squirrel run across the asphalt, blacktop, whatever you call it, and burst into flames. Never happened. It was actually a high ever a few times. It's 117 degrees. And yes, it's hot. But you know what's also great? It's also great that in the wintertime, average daily highs can be in the 40s or the 50s, and that happens for only a month or two, and then we get up into the 60s on a regular basis. It's also nice that you can go outside at 10 o'clock and just sit on your balcony. Even though it's been hot all day, you do feel the difference when the sun's not beating down on you. So we don't have extremes in Vegas. We've had a few earthquakes in the last few years, but we don't have tornadoes, typhoons. We have some monsoons. They only last a few hours. We don't ever have snow except for that one time in February of last year. Videos up on my channel. Nobody watched those videos, but I tried so hard, so hopefully you'll check out my snow video when we had a lot of snow in Las Vegas. But other than that, I mean, look, we're in a perfect climate spot. You think about people in Florida, what they have to go through and what they have to deal with. It's crazy for them. Next up, we have growth. This is the last one on the list. In terms of growth as a city, this city is forever growing and expanding. There's nothing but blank land all over the desert. And every time you look somewhere, you drive somewhere, you haven't been there for a few months, it seems like there's a new neighborhood or a new subdivision that's popping up. There's some big things that are being built down at Lake Las Vegas. They're doing a giant retirement community. There's a plan for a $400 million retail development over off of Durango near the 215. There's so much stuff and so much growth going on in Las Vegas that if you're looking for jobs, going back to the first point, there's tons of jobs while you're coming out here. And I'm not saying they're the best jobs that you might want to have, but if you're coming in on a blank slate, consider working in a construction field. Consider that kind of stuff. And when the tourists get back, consider doing an Uber or a Lyft gig if you're willing to deal with the public and you can fully research that. So Uber driver on my channel, he's so invested, he calls himself Mr. Uber. Super nice guy. He actually does a great job, and he's always in my chats, and he says that it's a town where you can actually make money on that when the tourists are here. So growth is out here. We have tons of stuff being developed. It's not really slowed down. We're not in 2008 territory. So people, I'm not telling you to make decisions based on what I say. I'm telling you that if you do come out here, you're going to see the growth happening. Now, whether or not you want to actually take advantage of that growth and do the thing where you actually hustle yourself and work real hard, that's going to be in you. That's going to be in your mindset. But if you come out here with a growth mindset, and you come out here with a I can't lose mindset because I'm just going to keep trying things until something works, I believe you will have a pretty good time coming out to Las Vegas. And it's a great city, and I hope you guys would come out here. I'll make another video this week, so you should subscribe for that, about what you should do to actually prepare to move out here. We're going to be interviewing Josh. He's one of the best friends I have in my life, and he's a great conversationalist. We're going to talk about real estate stuff. He's been in the market for a few years out here with his brother, working really hard. He'll answer some questions that we have about moving during this whole entire pandemic, and hopefully you guys will stay tuned for that. And that's our video for today. So make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel, ding that bell for the future notifications. Leave us a comment below whether or not you're going to come out to move to Las Vegas, or if this video was helpful for you. And if it was, consider going over to the Facebook group Not Leaving Las Vegas, where Josh is actively answering some questions right this week. And you guys can also hit the Patreon if you guys want to go ahead and support the channel and the 14 videos I do per week. You guys can also head on over to Vegas Face Mask, no S on the end.com, or you guys can hit up those links for Teespring merchandise or the Amazon, or you guys can book your stuff for Vegas.com. It would be very helpful for the channel. My name's Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. This is the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. I think my camera's over here. I was looking over here the whole time. Oh, you failed. What's wrong with you? Okay, 3, 2, 1, and click.